Second channel, I just talked about the announcement of the Bad Batch Disney Plus series, and I'm also doing a video on some SpongeBob Hot Wheels I bought. So if you want to see that, check that out on my second channel, Chance Random Vlogs. But I am now finally talking about Batman, the animated series. I finally watched all of it, not the movies. We're just talking about the actual series itself. I cannot do this series justice in words. This series is freaking phenomenal. You need to watch this show if you like Batman at all. It is the best Batman anything ever outside of the comics. I'm not joking. And no, don't come at me with The Dark Knight. It's a good movie. It's not really the greatest Batman movie. They could make a better Batman movie than that. It is possible. So, without further ado, let's talk about Batman animated series. One of the best things about the show is the score. This is one of the first animated series that has a score that is timed minute to minute with the actual animation. So this is a score that was completely originally composed for the show and only show. It's an original score. It's operatic. It's amazing, and it makes scenes feel horrific at times, creepy, scary, atmospheric, even kind of funny at times. It's an amazing score, and Danny Elfman composed the intro theme, which is amazing. One of the best intros to anything ever. And why I think this is one of the best Batman things is it shows off one of the most important aspects of the character of Batman. The fact that he's a detective. The fact that he doesn't just know everything and he has cool gadgets for every situation. He's actually a detective who actually sits there and tries to figure out stuff. For crying out loud, we're talking about a character who came from a comic produced by a company called Detective Comics. You know, he's a detective. And it is one of the most important aspects of Batman because that's just who he is. He's a detective. He figures out things. And a lot of the episodes are like that. Also, it also shows off his rogues gallery really well. They are fantastic. You see Two-Face, and it gives origins to all these characters, and new ones, too. There are original characters for Batman animated series that have actually stayed in canon. And the biggest one being Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn is actually a character that was created for this series. The Warner Brothers executives came to the creators of the show, and they said, hey, we need you to make a female character. And so they're like, Joker needs a henchman, we'll make that Harley Quinn. And that character became such a fan favorite now. She has shown up in movies, TV shows, bled into the comics, and even games and merchandise. She's one of the most popular comic book characters of all time, and she didn't even start in a comic. If that is enough selling point on this series, I don't know what is. You just need to watch this show. The animation is gorgeous, fantastic, especially for a TV show budget. It's not like theatrical, but it actually is pretty close to that level. The designs are amazing. But let's talk about one of my biggest issues with this Blu-ray set. So there was $120 versions. The pops in that set were not Batman animated series pops. And the set was like super tall. It was impossible to actually put on a shelf, okay? But this is the smaller version that cost $80, and it doesn't come with all the pops or whatever, right? So it comes with an episode guide, and season 1 is split over 5 discs and 65 episodes. Now season 2 and 3 are split over 2 different discs. Now here's my problem with this. The episodes are not, they're listed in order, but they're not listed in the correct season order. So there's actually 4 seasons, And I was like, oh, that's weird. It's not on here when I opened this episode guide up. But it actually is, because with season 3 is actually season 4. So they basically made season 1 one long season, which is like, why would you do that? I don't know. But yeah, it's really bizarre. But let's talk about season 4. Season 4 is actually a very controversial season among fans of the show, because they combined it with Superman, the animated series, and made this like the Superman and Batman hour or whatever. And it became the New Adventures of Batman. And they changed a lot of the art style and character designs. Certain characters remain about the same, like Batman was kind of changed, but not that much. Like, he still looks like Batman. The Joker looks terrible. In fact, there's a reason they changed him back. In fact, there used to be like DVD commentaries, and they never actually they made a bunch for like the designs that they changed, and it was like, you know, artists talking about why they changed certain designs, but they left off the Joker because he was so controversial that they just didn't even want to talk about it anymore. And yeah, I can see why, but it's really a terrible design. I don't know why they changed it. And then you have other characters which just kind of look but I don't know. I think this show is fantastic, but just this season was kind of off. They started making up original characters, right? Because, you know, Harley Quinn's an original character and stuff like that, but for the most part they just use Batman villains. And this season they just kind of stopped doing that. They stopped using the Batman villains to tell stories. They started making up their weird original characters, and most of them are very unmemorable and do not turn out right, and they just are really bad, and they're boring stories, and like just a lot of the story sort of changed tonally. They're a little bit more goofy, and it seems kind of like, really, this is what you want to do? Like, I don't know. Season 2, 3, and 1 are all amazing, even though they're listed as season 1 and 2. I still can't comprehend why that is. But it's an amazing show. If you love Batman, you will love this series and you need to watch it. Now, I should mention, there are a couple Batman animated series movies. I haven't watched those yet, and I will watch them and do reviews on them. I'm not sure when I will, but there's Batman Mask of the Phantasm, and then there's Batman Sub-Zero. So yeah, I will do reviews on those. But you know, I'm finally finished with the actual Batman animated series. Highly recommend it. One of the greatest shows ever made, and one of the best animated TV shows ever made. And I should, before I get off of this review, I almost forgot to mention, I couldn't forget to mention the amazing voice acting for Mark Hamill, aka Luke Skywalker, as the Joker. The voice acting in this show is amazing, from just about every single person in the cast. But Kevin Conroy, as Bruce Wayne and Batman is fantastic. And why I listed those as two different characters is because he plays them like they're two different characters, which is exactly how any actor or voice actor should play those characters. And it is phenomenal. And these characters, these voices for these characters got so popular now that they are still appear in animated TV shows, movies, and live action shows to this day. You seriously need to watch Batman the Animated Series if you haven't. Just do it!